When my wife Claire first told me she wanted a divorce, I didn't argue. There wasn't much left to argue about. For months we'd been living like strangers in the same house, separate rooms, separate lives, exchanging words only about bills or our 6-year-old daughter Emily. It wasn't the divorce that broke me. It was the way she said it. "I'll be taking Emily with me. You can visit on weekends if the court allows." For years I'd been the quiet one. Steady, dependable, invisible in my own home. Claire was the lively one, the social one, the person everyone naturally sided with. To the world she looked like the perfect mother. Cheerful at school events, always smiling in photos, active in the PDA. No one saw what life was really like behind our closed doors. Her temper, her silences, the way she'd cut me down in front of Emily as if I were just another piece of furniture. When she filed for full custody, I told my lawyer I didn't want to turn it into a battle. But he looked me dead in the eye and said quietly, "She already has." The weeks that followed were exhausting. Her lawyer painted me as the absent, distracted father. Too focused on work, too distant, too cold. I sat through it, jaw tight, barely breathing, listening to lies that sounded all too believable. All I could think about was Emily. How confused she must have been. Caught between two people who once promised never to hurt each other. At home, the silence felt unbearable. Emily would sometimes ask, "Daddy, are you mad at Mommy?" And I'd force a smile, pretending everything was fine. I thought staying calm, never speaking badly about her mother, would somehow protect her. But I underestimated how much children notice. One night, Emily walked into my room holding her stuffed bunny. Her voice was small when she asked, "Daddy, if I live with Mommy, will you still be my dad every day?" That question shattered something inside me. I realized then that if I didn't stand up, not against Claire but for Emily, I'd lose the most important part of my life. The next morning I called my lawyer. "I'm fighting for shared custody," I told him. When the hearing finally came, I sat at that courtroom table shaking, not from fear of losing, but from knowing how much truth rested on the words of a 6-year-old child. The courtroom felt colder than I expected. Claire sat across from me in a gray blazer, her expression calm, almost rehearsed. Her lawyer spoke first, listing my supposed flaws: long hours, emotional distance, inconsistency. Every word stung, not because it was true but because it sounded convincing. Claire had always known how to shape a story, how to twist small truths into something that fit her image. When it was our turn, my lawyer spoke about my role as a father, how I was the one who took Emily to school, read her bedtime stories, taught her to ride her bike. The judge listened without revealing much. The whole process felt mechanical, as if hearts didn't matter, only evidence. Then came the moment I'd been dreading and hoping for. The judge said softly, "I'd like to hear from Emily." Claire's head jerked toward me, her confident smile faltering. Neither of us had expected that. Emily entered the courtroom clutching her bunny, her tiny shoes tapping against the floor as she climbed into the chair. Everyone's tone changed instantly. The lawyers stopped sounding like lawyers. Even the judge's voice softened. He asked her gentle questions: what she liked to do, where she liked to spend her time. Emily answered carefully, her voice small but steady. "Mommy's house is pretty," she said. "She buys me dresses and lets me stay up late." Claire smiled proudly. Then came a pause, the kind that makes an entire room hold its breath. "But I like Daddy's house more," Emily added quietly, hugging her bunny close. "Because when I'm sad, he listens to me. And when I tell him secrets, he never laughs." The silence that followed was absolute. The judge leaned back, studying us both. Claire's smile vanished. Emily went on, unaware of how powerful her little words were. "Sometimes Mommy gets mad and says Daddy doesn't love me because he's busy. But he does. He always says he loves me every night, even when I'm already asleep." In that moment I wasn't thinking about winning or losing. I just wanted to hold her. Her honesty was pure, unfiltered, the kind of truth only a child can give. The judge turned to Claire and spoke quietly. "Thank you, Emily. You've helped me understand a lot." As she left the stand holding the bailiff's hand, I noticed Claire's fingers trembling against the table. For the first time she looked uncertain. The judge took a slow breath before speaking. "Mr. and Mrs. Bennett," he began, "this case isn't about who appears to be the better parent. It's about who listens, who nurtures, who provides emotional stability. From what I've heard, Emily is deeply bonded to both of you. He paused, glancing briefly at Claire. But one parent seems to be using that bond as leverage. Her lawyer objected immediately, mumbling something about misinterpretation, but the judge silenced him with a raised hand. Children don't lie about where they feel safe, he said calmly. Emily's words tell me everything I need to know. I didn't breathe as he delivered his ruling. Custody will be shared equally. Neither parent is to limit the other's time or influence. What this child needs is cooperation, not competition. For a moment, I thought I'd imagined it. Claire blinked rapidly, trying to process what she'd just heard. I didn't celebrate or gloat. I just closed my eyes and whispered, "Thank you." Outside the courtroom, she turned to me. "You think you won, don't you?" she said, her voice sharp and trembling. I met her eyes and said quietly, "No, Claire. Emily won." She scoffed, brushing away tears that looked more like anger than grief. "You always play the victim, Daniel. Always the quiet, noble one." I didn't answer. I didn't have to. The truth had already spoken for itself. That night, Emily curled up beside me on the couch, her head resting against my arm. "Daddy," she asked, "are we still a family?" I thought for a long moment before replying. "Yes, sweetheart. Just a different kind now. But I'll always be your dad. No matter where you are." She smiled and turned back to her cartoon, blissfully unaware that her honesty had changed everything. A few weeks later, I dropped her off at Claire's new apartment. Things between us were quieter now, not friendly, not cold, just civil. I crouched to tie Emily's shoes before she ran inside, and she whispered, "Daddy, I told the truth because I didn't want you to be lonely." My throat tightened. "You'll never have to worry about that," I told her softly. "You're my heart walking around outside my body." As she ran to the door, I looked at Claire standing there. For the first time in years, she didn't look like someone trying to win. She just looked human. Maybe she finally understood what I had learned. That love isn't proven in court, but in the quiet moments a child never forgets. And sometimes, it only takes a 6-year-old simple truth to remind us what really matters.